Judiciary of Malaysia. Judiciary of Malaysia is largely centralized, despite Malaysia's federal constitution, heavily influenced by the English common law as well as Islamic jurisprudence. The Sultan Abdul Samad building nearby Merdeka Square formerly housed the superior courts of the country. Today, the courts have shifted to either the Palace of Justice in Putrajaya during the early 2000s or Kuala Lumpur Courts Complex in 2007. Current system: Old High Court Building, Kuala Lumpur, Palace of Justice, Putrajaya. There are generally two types of trials: criminal and civil. The hierarchy of courts begins from the magistrates' courts, session court, high court, court of appeal, and finally the federal court. The jurisdiction of the courts in civil and criminal matters are contained in the Subordinate Courts Act 1948 and the Courts of Judicature Act 1964. Article 121 of the Constitution provides for two high courts of coordinate jurisdiction: the High Court in Malaysia and the High Court in Sabah and Sarawak. Thus, this creates two separate local jurisdiction of the courts for Peninsular Malaysia and for East Malaysia. The highest position in the judiciary of Malaysia is the Chief Justice of the Federal Court of Malaysia, also known as the Chief Justice of Malaysia, followed by the President of the Court of Appeal, the Chief Judge of Malay, and the Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak. The superior courts are the High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Federal Court, while the Magistrates Court and the Session Courts are classified as subordinate courts. Since 2003, the two highest courts of the country, namely the Federal Court and the Court of Appeal, have been located at the Palace of Justice, Putrajaya. Superior Courts, Federal Court. The Federal Court is the highest court in Malaysia. The Federal Court may hear appeals of civil decisions of the Court of Appeal where the Federal Court grants leave to do so. The Federal Court also hears criminal appeals from the Court of Appeal, but only in respect of matters heard by the High Court in its original jurisdiction, that is, where the case has not been appealed from the subordinate courts. The Court of Appeal generally hears all civil appeals against decisions of the High Court, except where against judgment or orders made by consent. In cases where the claim is less than Malaysian ringgit 250,000, the judgment or order relates to cost only, and the appeal is against a decision of a judge in chambers on an interpleader summons on undisputed facts. The leave of the Court of Appeal must first be obtained. The Court of Appeal also hears appeals of criminal decisions of High Court. It is the court of final jurisdiction for cases which began in any subordinate courts. The two high courts in Malaysia have general supervisory and revisionary jurisdiction over all the subordinate courts and the jurisdiction to hear appeals from the subordinate courts in civil and criminal matters. The high courts have unlimited civil jurisdiction and generally hears actions where the claim exceeds Malaysian ringgit 1 million, other than actions involving motor vehicle accidents, landlord and tenant disputes and distress. The High Court hear all matters relating to the validity or dissolution of marriage, divorce, and matrimonial causes, bankruptcy and matters relating to the winding up of companies, grants of probate, wills and letters of administration of estates, legitimacy of persons. The High Court have unlimited jurisdiction in all criminal matters other than matters involving Islamic law. The High Court have original jurisdiction in criminal cases punishable by death. Cases are headed by a single judge in the High Court or by a judicial commissioner. While the High Court judges enjoy security of tenure, judicial commissioners are appointed for a term of 2 years and do not enjoy similar protection under the Constitution. An application for a judicial review is applied in this court. Subordinate courts, magistrate courts and session courts in Kuala Lumpur. The magistrate courts and session courts in Malaysia have the power in both criminal and civil matters. Session courts, somewhat like the former quarter sessions in England, but does not exceed Malaysian ringgit 1 million as per section 65 subsection 1b, 73 subsection b, 93 subsection 1 of the Subordinate Courts Act 1948 SCA. The exception, however, is in matters relating to motor vehicle accidents, landlord and tenant and distress, where the session courts have unlimited jurisdiction pursuant to section 65 subsection 1a SCA. Sorry. Also, by virtue of section 65 subsection 3 SCA, the parties to a legal action may enter into an agreement in writing to grant jurisdiction to the session court to try an action beyond its prescribed monetary jurisdiction aforesaid. Magistrates courts. Magistrates are divided into first class and second class magistrates, the former being legally qualified and having greater powers. Second class magistrates are normally appointed. Other courts. The courts of a Bengkulu or Malay village head has the power to hear civil matters of which the claim does not exceed 50 Malaysian ringgit, where the parties are of an Asian race and speak and understand the Malay language. The Bengkulu court's criminal jurisdiction is limited to offences of a minor nature charged against a person of Asian race, which is specially enumerated in his warrant, which can be punished with a fine not exceeding 25 Malaysian ringgit. However, the Bengkulu court has been abolished since March 1 of 2013. In Sabah and Sarawak, there are no Bengkulu courts, but there are instead native courts, Malay Mahkamah Anak Negeri, having jurisdiction on matters of native law and custom. The Court of Children, previously known as the Jubilant Court, hears cases involving minors, except cases carrying the death penalty, which are heard in High Court instead. Cases for children are governed by the Child Act 2001. A child is defined as any person below the age of 18. Special court was established in 1993 to hear cases of offences or wrongdoings made by a ruler. A ruler includes the Yang di Pertuan Agong King, the Sultan of monarchical states in Malaysia, the Yang di Pertua Negeri, and the Yang di Pertuan Besar, that is the head of states of Malaysia and its component states. Prior to this, a ruler was immune from any proceedings brought against them in their personal capacity. Farida Begum binti Abdullah versus Ahmed Shah was the first case to be held in this court. There is a parallel system of state Sharia courts which has limited jurisdiction over matters of state Islamic Sharia law. The Sharia courts have jurisdiction only over matters involving Muslims and can generally only pass sentences of not more than 3 years imprisonment, a fine of up to 5,000 Malaysian ringgit and or up to 6 strokes of the cane. Appointment of judges. The appointment of Chief Justice is governed by Article 122B of the Constitution of Malaysia, whereby the Yang di Pertuan Agong King appoints the Chief Justice on the advice of the Prime Minister of Malaysia, after consulting the Conference of Rulers. As per the appointment of President of the Court of Appeal, the Chief Judge of Malaysia, the Chief Judge of Sabah and Sarawak, and other federal court judges, similar procedure is taken with the additional requirements of consultation with the Chief Justice. The appointment of Court of Appeal judges is also governed by the same procedure with the additional requirements for the consultation of the President of the Court of Appeal. As for the appointment of the High Court judges, similar procedures are prescribed with the additional requirements of consultation with the respective Chief Judges. The appointment of Sessions Court judges is governed by Section 59 of the Subordinate Court Act 1948. They are appointed by the Yang di Pertuan Agong upon the advice of the respective Chief Judges. Section 78 of the Subordinate Courts Act 1948 provides that the appointment of magistrates are done by the respective state government upon the advice of the respective Chief Judges, except for magistrates in the federal territory, where they are appointed by the Yang di Pertuan Agong upon the advice of the Chief Judge. Thank you, viewers, for watching. I am Shamim. This article is taken from Wikipedia.